How do you make a sequel? Maybe you go the Super Mario Bros. 2 route and make things harder. Or perhaps you go the way of Dragon Ball Z, adding a funky, underused letter to make things more extreme. Personally, I prefer the Sonic sequel method. Let's do more of the same, but better. Now, believe me, this doesn't always work. If implemented poorly, the Sonic 2 method can perpetuate burnout. The re-release of the Yakuza series on PS4 falls into this category. Despite being excellent remasters of PS2 era titles, the quick turnaround from Sega dropping Yakuza 0 in 2017 to remakes of the first 5 games and the newly minted 6th game, and the spin-off titles Judgment, Yakuza Like a Dragon, and now the forthcoming Lost Judgment, all within the span of 4 years, has meant I've hit pause on visiting Kamurocho anytime soon. On the flip side, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Super Mario Galaxy 2, or the Kingdom Hearts series were all titles that didn't diverge too far from their prequels, but managed to keep me enthralled to see their stories play out. It's a delicate line to walk. Some might say you can't have too much of a good thing, but when playing games comes at the cost of time, I prefer not to play rehashed adventures with new coats of paint. As much as Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was a new paint sequel, the game quickly justified its existence. It supplanted the original game as a must-have title for Sega Genesis, in the process helping to indoctrinate fans into, if only for a while, believing that Sonic was cooler than Mario. Interestingly enough, I wasn't one of those fans. Sonic 2 might be one of my favorite games of all time, but I never really viewed it as a sequel. My Sega Genesis was a hand-me-down gift from my uncle. Apparently he was one of those people who purchased his Genesis when it came bundled with Sonic 2, because my copy is one of those dime a dozen, not for resale versions. Well, one of my copies. As much as I love the game, I wouldn't find out that Sonic 2 had a prequel until I got the Sonic Classics cartridge that came with Sonic 1, 2, and Dr. Robotnik's Me and Bean machine. Only recently did I get a physical copy of the first game in the series. Despite my childhood ignorance of Sonic 1, Sonic 2 has come to be synonymous with what a video game sequel should be. The addition of the spin dash gave players more agency over controlling the blue blur, allowing players to rethink the way Sonic interacted with the terrain. Adding series sidekick Miles Tails Prower meant that co-op and competitive multiplayer was an option, bare bones as it may have been. Sonic has a new, updated sprite, a bunch more levels to sprint through, and maybe most important of all, loads of new music to groove to. And that's what we're focusing on today, the stellar soundtrack for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Hot off the presses of the system seller that was Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega was tasked with replicating the first game's magic. It's a wonder that the sequel was such a well-received success. In addition to tensions between developer Yuji Naka and Sega of Japan, Sonic and Robotnik character designer Naoto Oshima departed from development. Side note, Oshima would eventually found his own company, Art-Toon, and provide gamers with a beloved, if less mainstream mascot of his own, Blinks the Cat. Judging by the name, does that mean Blinks is a Sonic fan character? That's what I'm going with now. Anyway, though Naka would eventually quit Sega in Japan, he'd stay involved with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 under the guise of a new studio. Founded by Mark Cerny, yes, that Mark Cerny, Sega Technical Institute was Sega's American arm. Other Sonic 1 talent to join on included level designer Hirokazu Yasuhara, and, once again, Dreams Come True bassist and songwriter Masato Nakamura. Despite developing the game in just 11 months, STI originally believed they'd have 2 years. Sonic 2 introduced a number of new gameplay features to showcase the technical capabilities of the Genesis. The special stages were pseudo 3D half-pipes that would become a staple of the series, with variations in Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic Heroes, and Sonic 4 Episode 2. There were also double the amount of level themes, not including all the cut content like Hidden Palace and the fan hack favorite zone, Wood Zone. Of all the cut content, I'm partial to that desert zone that was shown in the pre-release magazine screenshot. If not for that image, we might not have gotten Mirage Saloon Zone in Sonic Mania. Act 2 of that stage might have my favorite track in that game. Its jazzy sax and piano keys pairing nicely with the desert heat. Remember how I said Sonic 2's design philosophy was basically to make the first game, but better? That's effectively the way Nakamura approached the game. He maintained the cinematic ideals in creating music, though this time he was offered more freedom given the success of the last game. Nakamura composed the game on the Roland MC4 microcomposer while he worked on the Dreams Come True album, The Swinging Star. I'd like to try and draw a comparison between this album and the music of Sonic 2, but honestly, it's amazing how much the album diverges from Nakamura's Sonic work. Of course, there's the obvious connection the song Sweet 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 has to the game. Nakamura gifted a reworked version of the Dreams Come True track as the ending theme for Sonic 2. And at times, the string sections on tracks like Ano Natsu no Hanabi are sort of reminiscent of bits of Emerald Hill Zone. But for the most part, the swinging star plays closer to the smooth sounds of album-oriented rock of the 1970s and 80s than the more progressive soundtrack of Sonic 2. In fact, Nakamura beats players over the head with his composition of the game's first level, Emerald Hill. Sonic 2 brings a number of new voices to the soundtrack. In Emerald Hill, a driving bass line propels Sonic and Tails amid squeaky synths that abandon the more symphonic touches of Green Hill. Equipped with the instant momentum generator that is the spin dash, the composition spares no expense in dictating the pace of the game, which tops anything Sonic 1 had to offer. The second level, the fan favorite Chemical Plant, might be so beloved for ditching the slow burn of the last game's Marble Zone in favor of pure, uninhibited speed. The song follows suit, this time with call and response rhythms, and again, Nakamura's unmistakably pounding bass. This track never lets up until right before it loops, when one of the synth channels cries out, piercing through the track like a laser. Chemical Plant's choppy, metallic composition helps bolster the recurring theme of Sonic games, nature versus machines. Nakamura embraces that through the instrumentation at times. Not to jump too far ahead, but the Death Egg Zone abandons any pretense of realistic instrumentation in favor of off-putting, carnivalesque synths. Metropolis Zone, however, despite being something of Robotnik's Mechanical Workshop, surprisingly takes a jovial turn, with an upbeat bass line and descending, arpeggiated synths that discard the sinister in favor of a more comical sound. I'm particularly fond of the little guitar flourishes during the track, which help inject some character into the song. As I mentioned before, Sonic 2 really thrives in how it uses a variety of voices with the Genesis' limited sound channels. Hilltop Zone, for example, includes the melodic wail of a harmonica, which emphasizes the more rural, mountainous setting of a level that reuses Emerald Hill assets. Casino Night Zone, meanwhile, has a brassier tone. The level's fanfare is reminiscent of a hotel house band playing a late-night shindig. This track is one of my favorites, especially in comparison to the version used for the two-player level. For reference, some of Nakamura's unused compositions were included as part of the competitive mode. Emerald Hill, Mystic Cave, and Casino Night all received new tracks that were otherwise going to be used in the main game. I always felt like the single-player Casino Night sounded like something someone's grandpa would listen to while playing bingo or blackjack. The two-player variant was more aggressive, playing up the high stakes of someone looking to make it big in Vegas. Oil Ocean is another great instance of Nakamura's stellar vocal usage. Middle Eastern music commonly employs tense melodies and complex rhythmic structures, unlike the ear-friendly 4/4 measures of Western pop music. Nakamura recreates the reedy howl of the duduk, an Armenian woodwind instrument, to carry the uneasy sounding Oil Ocean, which plays out over a burning orange sunset and an ocean filled with, well, oil. Like Casino Night, Mystic Cave is another level that features two pieces depending on the game mode. Nakamura really lets his bass shine on the single player track, in what plays like a funky hip-hop record. But the two-player version's bubbly fusion always seemed to nudge out the original for me, even though I enjoy them both nowadays. Nakamura's Sonic 2 music also makes some earnest attempts at creating pacing. Like the lazier melody of Casino Night, which encourages players to stop and embrace the pinball and slot machine mechanics, Sky Chase Zone is another such pace changer, with a tapered down drumline and twinkling synths that allow Sonic and Tails to pursue Eggman's Wing Fortress at a leisurely pace. Speaking of Wing Fortress, which sits as another of Robotnik's bases, Nakamura choosing to replicate horns continues to fit with the Doctor's self-inflated, if almost regal view of himself. While we're on the subject, I always appreciate how Nakamura changed Robotnik's boss theme in the sequel. While the first game's theme had a forcefulness to it, thanks to the steady snare hits of the drumline, the Sonic 2 boss music feels a bit more action-oriented. In the first game, the boss fights were used to introduce and reintroduce players to Robotnik. He was always flying his same vehicle, the Eggmobile, and generally avoided interacting directly with Sonic, favoring long-range or area-impacting attacks. In Sonic 2, however, he's already at his wit's end. From the first fight, Robotnik is already trying to gore our friendly neighborhood Hedgehog with a drill affixed to an ATV. Dropping lava or spike balls in Sonic's vicinity in the last game was nefarious, but some of these contraptions are just evil. In Aquatic Ruin, he whips out a hammer and arrows, while in Wing Fortress he makes a death chamber complete with spiky platforms and a laser. Fittingly, this boss music has no chill. The final boss music is a return to the march of the last game, however with a much more kingly theme. At this point, Robotnik must think he's set himself up for success. There are no rings, he's a giant mech capable of flight, and is in space. Worst comes to worst, he could just depressurize Sonic and call it a day. Of course, that's not how things go. But Robotnik can dream, I guess. With the expanded game, Nakamura also composed other incidental pieces as well. The special stages, which in two-player mode are races, feature a racing fanfare at the start of the track. The newfound edition of the option screen gets a track of its own too, as does the results screen in competitive mode. Sonic 2 also features a brand new state for Sonic, Super Sonic. Collect all 7 emeralds, grab 50 rings, and jump and Sonic pops some uppers, turns yellow, and increases his speed and becomes invulnerable as long as he has rings. Though Sonic really wouldn't experiment with recurring musical motifs and remixes until Sonic 3, this theme is a rework of the title song. The escalating rhythm builds with excitement. The first time you trigger the transformation, you might not know what's about to happen, but the music is enough to cue you in that it's going to be awesome. No matter how you slice it, Sonic 2 was all around a better game than Sonic 1. Unlike, say, The Legend of Zelda, which flipped from a top-down adventure game to a side-scrolling action RPG between its first and second installments, Sonic 2 simply did right by fans who came to love the first game. The single-button philosophy was expanded upon such that even the spin dash required a simple input. Look, they even managed to make the staple water level better, creating higher pathways that allowed Sonic to completely skirt the deep blue. I find it amazing that all of these improvements could happen amidst the creation of a new branch at Sega. When companies are mired in controversy, whether it's the allegations against Activision Blizzard or the failures of CD Projekt Red, their output usually suffers. Trying to manage PR while keeping staff focused on making the best possible games is no easy feat. More times than not, it results in gameplay sacrifices, key members leaving the company, and a sense of aimlessness as they try to please the public and fans. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 managed to mask these tensions to deliver a truly stunning game for its time. Maybe the game benefited from the lack of social media, which nowadays amplifies industry struggles at a moment's notice. Or maybe the brand of Sonic was just too strong at the time, with Sega closing the gap on Nintendo's market share. Nakamura's soundtrack was also a key contribution, helping to fold the musical experimentation of the first game into an even more eclectic set of songs that would become staples in the series. For what it's worth, the complete package that is Sonic 2 is probably my favorite video game of all time. There's just the right amount of challenge to make the game replayable, and it's sure enough to pick up and play just about anywhere. And though the series' music would take a radical compositional shift by 1993, Sonic 2 still managed to lay a foundation for the Hedgehog's music for years to come. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm definitely interested in hearing your thoughts on Sonic 2. I mean, this game is so important to so many people. Also, feel free to leave a like or a subscription if you're interested. I have plenty more videos to come. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.